slides, so I'll let you flip to the first one.
All right.
So we got disclaimers so we don't get in trouble. So real estate investing by its very nature is risky. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, sometimes you break even. We can't guarantee a profit or a loss. We do not provide legal or accounting or contract, like advice. So, and the second disclaimer is everything I say tonight's a lie. And if you like it, try it on. In other words, don't sue me.
I preach that myself, Mark. I tell everybody that I teach, I say, first thing you need to know is everybody's lying to you.
Oh.
So can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Sorry, you were muted.
Okay,
I don't know what happened. Go ahead.
So a little bit about me. I got started in real estate in the 70s. My wife gave me a choice of ballroom dance, square dance, or real estate class. And we took the real estate class. And 6 months later, I owned 26 properties. So all of my life, I've been somebody who's jumped in and spun a lot of plates. So when you spin a lot of plates, you make a lot of mistakes. But on that first 26 properties I bought, they ended up being some of the best buys I ever bought in real estate. My wife was a speech therapist. She did everything by the book. We rented properties, and she would actually even read the leases to the tenants. It about killed me to have her put somebody in, but it actually worked out very, very well. And then over the years, I gravitated to going to a tougher area in rentals. My wife said if I did that, she would fire me. I did it. And so she got out of the business with me. And after about another 3 years, I had 350 rental properties. I caught a heating inspector that was crooked, was in the city of Pontiac. I set up a sting operation with the local police. And he was actually cracking the heat exchangers and the furnaces and working with the contractors. And he ended up going to prison. That was the biggest mistake I've made in real estate because the entire city was corrupt and they about destroyed me. So I come as close as I ever did to having a nervous breakdown. Then I majorly started liquidating those properties. I got into find, fix, and flip. I did about 8 to 10 of them. At one point, I was a note buyer. I was at one point the largest note buyer in the state of Michigan. Then I started doing the find, fix, and flip. And what happened was I was doing 8 of them a month. I woke up one morning, said, if I can do 8, I can do 80. I rose to my level of incompetency, and that sunk me. I started all over. I did wholesaling. And that was one area that worked really well for me because I could take on large numbers of properties and do very well. When the market crashed in 2008, I basically backed out of that. I ended up doing internet marketing and actually got very good at it. And today I still do it. And I've handled like 11 national franchises over the years. And I've currently work for some very large dumpster companies. And that's been really good. But what I do for all those companies is I generate leads. And I'm an incredible lead generator off the internet. So today what I do is I generate leads and I give them to wholesalers. And the wholesalers I work with, I get 50% of what they do. And I also do very active with my real estate license from a lead generator standpoint and making referral fees back. So that's a little bit about me. I've had lots of ups and downs in this business. I just had my best year in business this past year. And I discovered along the way that the best partner I've ever had in real estate is my wife, but it took me 40 years to get there. So she's very much involved in my business. So we'll go to the next slide.
All righty.
And you guys can raise your hand or ask questions along the way if you like. So, you know, people that get into investing, they're usually doing it for a couple of different reasons. They're doing like find and rent the properties, do find, fix, and flip. They're doing it for wholesaling. And if you're doing any of those things, you're really missing out of about 25% of the profits you could be making, or maybe as much as 50%. So that's what I want to talk a little bit before Maureen gets into what's available with a real estate license. But I want to talk about what you can do and the mistakes I've made that would lead me to this. And the nice part is we've got a few other people my age on the call that could probably kick in and give some advice along the way too. When we open it up, I'm open to having them do that. When you're, as an investor, when you get going in this business, you need to find a broker that is retail real estate involved, but also investor minded broker. So where you're going to find those brokers is usually at the RIA meetings, because they're going to be actively involved with those meetings. And that's the place to go to find them. The broker that's on with us tonight, Maureen, she fits all of that to a T. And with a real estate license, what I'm able to do, just generating leads, and I generate the leads off the internet. I also generate leads off of bandit signs. I do text blasting. I do emails. I do a lot of different ways that I generate leads. And I'm looking for motivated sellers, and I'm giving them to wholesalers to put deals together. But when you're doing that, like if you're doing find and rent, or you're doing find, fix, and sell, you're going to run into deals that you don't want. So having a real estate license allows you to send that referral to a realtor. And when I send a referral out, I get 50% of it. So if you've got a real estate license and you surround yourself in the right environment, and I'll talk about your company a little bit, Maureen, she's got a lot of investors. She's got BPO agents, which stands for Broker's Price Opinion, where they're going out. Those are the people that are going to eventually end up in a foreclosure. She's got agents that are handling REOs. The company that she's got is probably the fifth largest mortgage company they are.
FHA lender. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they're handling a ton of REOs too. And REO stands for real estate owned or foreclosed property. So they're like swimming in the mix of investors. So if you're going to jump into this game, you want to be in that kind of environment. So, so with a real estate license, you can get your comparable sales, and it's the best source for that I know. Most properties, as a result of what I see, is if I'm a wholesaler and I find a property, most wholesalers are trying to take their properties to investor meetings and other wholesalers to get them sold. But the MLS is, in my opinion, the best place, because I've ran a nationwide program where in this local market here, I've taken my properties to all of the investor meetings. But if I list them in the MLS, I can get a higher dollar for those properties, and I can still take them to those other meetings too. So you can have the best of both worlds. So,
Well, and I think too that the MLS gives you the most exposure, because it
Totally.
allows, agents who represent investors to also be seeing the properties that you're listing and selling.
Yeah. So, and if you're buying, the MLS is the perfect place to be, because you're, so what I did early on in my career, it was some of the best stuff. I had a very deep pocketed investor, and all he cared about was getting a great deal, but he didn't want to do the work. So I was able to do a 50% partnership with him. He wanted 11% on his money. Over the years, I had to work twice as hard to make money, but I also had the ability. I was the agent that was doing the listing, the buying. So, and I could get incredible deals off of the MLS. So I upset a lot of agents because I would make ridiculous offers. And when I would go on to the MLS, I was looking for keywords like handyman special, foreclosure, divorce, probate, bad roof, leaky basement, old furnace, taxes owed. So you're looking for all those searches. And then I was cranking out the offers. I would crank out as many as 10 offers a day. What would happen is 7 months, 6 months later, the agents that told me they weren't even going to present my offer, that yelled at me on the phone, those agents were the ones calling me back wanting to know if I still would consider the offer. So it was just a numbers game, but it opened up all kinds of areas. Now, when you don't have the license and you're working off of bandit signs and all the other ways, those are great ways to find deals too, but it opens up your ability to do a lot of stuff. So then it also opens up, from my perspective, I teamed up with other people. So I would have other agents cranking out those offers every day. And then I was the one that was like supervising how it all went down. So after a while, you start to develop systems on how you're doing it. And it's a good way to do business. And then you want to look for an agency that does BPOs and REOs, like I said. So if you want to earn extra money, or you are tight on money and you want to learn this business and get paid, you can be the person who does BPOs. Maureen's got one person in her office. I know him really well, won't say his name, but all he does is handle BPOs. And I mean, he handles REOs and he gets some listings, but I can tell you that he generates a decent living with that. And, but he's swimming right in the mix of all the motivated sellers and all the things that are, a BPO, a mortgage company sends somebody out to do a BPO when they see that the property's like one payment behind or 2 payments behind. It's not in foreclosure, but it's headed for foreclosure. So that's all he's doing, is looking at those properties every day. So he's got a wealth of information. And the only people that know about those motivated sellers is himself and the asset manager that assigned that case to him.
That's absolutely correct. And he does anywhere from probably, I don't know, $3,000 to $5,000 a month in reports for his clients. He's developed a rapport with them over the years so that they are his first go-to versus, just kind of e-blasting it out to various agents. So he kind of gets first crack at them. And it takes a little while to develop that rapport. But once you do, then you're the person that they go to for, for your professional opinion, right? You're the person that they know has their finger on the pulse of the market, and your boots, you're the boots on the ground for that client. So they're not here in this state, or most states actually. And so they're relying on you to tell them what's happening. And he does a really good job at it. Mm-hmm.
So then if you're a beginning investor, and you'll be able to find deep-pocketed buyers, and then you've got the access to the money. And if you're doing a good job of taking that property and getting it flipped for that investor, then you're going to develop a long-term strategy, or rented. And then you can work out your splits, but you're still earning your commissions along the way too. So, so if I was starting this whole thing over, and what I do today is I have over 30 people that work for me in the internet world, and also in the real estate world. And all I've done is set up processes, and then I'm managing the process. So what you want to do is, when you want to start breaking this stuff down, and learn it and then create a process around it to where you can manage the process rather than being the process. So,
Yeah. Are you working in your business or on your business?
yeah.
It makes a difference. It really does. So you got to have the systems in place in order to be able to manage that, you know, and not have anything fall through the cracks.
So why don't we unmute everybody and answer some questions? Like,
Sure.
and then we'll go on to cover the, you know, everything that's available with having the license that you're going to talk about.
Okay.
And if somebody disagrees, that's okay too. Let's hear that.
Who's disagreeing? Anybody have any questions? You can go ahead and unmute yourself and ask if you'd like.
Hi, I just had one question. What's BPO? I know REO, but I'm not familiar with BPO.
Broker's price opinion.
Mhm.
So before a house goes to foreclosure and I'm a property owner and I get one payment behind or two payments behind, or I'm not paying my taxes and they catch it, then they're going to issue out an agent to look at the property.
Yeah, they send out an order. They send out an order to a licensed real estate agent who's skilled or certified in completing their report that they like done a specific way. And you know, it's similar to a form that an appraiser uses. And so anyways, they're going out and they're typically the first stage would be a drive-by broker price opinion or BPO. So that you could be reporting on the condition of the property. And then they're looking for you to tell them what is happening in that current market so that they know in the event that the property goes into full default, what they can kind of expect to get out of the sale of that property should they need to foreclose.
Okay. Good.
So if you were looking to find BPO agents or REO agents, there's like websites like REO Network. And that's where a BPO or REO agent would go to list their resume for the asset managers to look at to get hired. So you can actually find them there. And if you can find somebody like that and work out an arrangement with them, then it's only going to be you that knows about that particular property if you follow. So, and work out whatever you work out with the agent. So. Does that make sense?
That does make sense. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Questions?
I liked your statement about working in or on your business, not in your business. Sounds like a book I think we've all read.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we all hear it and we all preach it, you know. Yeah. Are you working in your business or on your business? Because there's definitely a big difference in the two.
Yeah. And in St. Louis here, you said you send out a person to do a drive-by. That means they're coming with machine guns and going to shoot your house up.
Well, I could say the same thing about our fair city of Detroit, but you know, that's why we preface it by drive-by BPO. You know, you have to include that little acronym behind it, right? Broker price opinion. Because sometimes the banks will hire you to do interior broker price opinions as well, to where you'd have to reach out to a homeowner or even a potential listing agent if the property is listed in order to gain access to the home. And then they'd be looking for you to, you know, provide them with photos and everything that documents the condition of the property, as well as the comparables and what's happening in the market.
When I was younger and we used to go in and look at all the houses, I had one qualification, and that was to take a person with me. And their only qualification was they had to be able to run slower than me. So.
I hear you.
So you were going to ask a question?
How often do you do an internal inspection?
Oh, internal you mean an interior BPO? Okay. So it just depends. Right now, because there's moratoriums issued on most courts and foreclosures through the end of the year, or some of them are even going through the end of January. Most of them will be a drive-by, but there are a lot of properties that are currently in default. We don't look like we did in 2008, but there's still many out there that are falling behind due to the COVID and the shutdowns in various states. So we're going to see an upswing on the foreclosures again. They won't be to the degree that they were in 2008 because people have a little more equity in the properties right now, but they might, the longer that they stay in default, the farther behind they're going to become, and the less, the less value that they'll have to be able to take out of that property. So they'll be looking at probably more short sales. And foreclosures will probably see an uptake in the third and fourth quarter of next year. So just based upon the information that we see behind the scenes. Is there anyone here that's currently licensed? I know, Dwayne, you said you're a former broker. Is there anyone else here on the call that's currently licensed?
That was about 20 years ago. I got that broker's license and then got rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Andrew,
I'm not a,
I think Andrew raised his hand.
yes.
I am, I'm based in California and I've taken all of the 3 certificates, but because of COVID, it's super delayed. So I was trying to get my license in October, right before we had our first baby who was here a second ago. But it's been delayed for months. So I'm waiting. I'm this close to getting it.
Yeah.
This close, but it could be another 3 months. Who knows with all this stuff, but
Well, and hopefully,
I've done all of it, just the test.
hopefully
Good.
not. Hopefully not. I know that we've had some delays here in Michigan as well. And it's funny because the PSI testing company actually was telling the people here who were taking their classes here to go and cross the border in Ohio, and they could take them there for Michigan. Yep.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you might want to check with your testing center and see if you have any alternatives.
That's not a bad idea. I've tried them at there's one in San Diego. I'm based in Los Angeles. There's Fresno, there's Sacramento, and there's Oakland. So literally up to like 7 hours driving away, and there's just no dates for the last who knows how long.
Well, we found out if we cross the state line.
Yeah. Maybe I could do Arizona or Nevada.
That they had dates available. Yeah.
I'm maybe I should call them tomorrow and ask them that, because I'm just tired of waiting. I'm like, it's been a while. Baby's born is here and I still don't have a license. Like,
well, and not only that, you don't want to forget everything you learned.
That's the other thing. My brain is kind of mushy at this point from not
You
sleeping.
want it to be fresh in your mind, right?
Yep, exactly. That's not
Andrew,
a bad suggestion. I'm going to look into that. Thank you.
Andrew, we get a lot of California buyers buying in our market too, because basically they could buy a house for what it costs to put a window in their garage.
I absolutely.
In the Detroit market.
I am very interested in out of state investing, because I'm like.
So there's this Wednesday, they've got something called Wholesale Chat. And we got 3 really good wholesalers that lead that. And now there's other markets coming in on that too. So that might be a great resource for you. And all it is helping each other, and then they're presenting their deals and stuff. So you might find that real interesting.
Do you mind sending or maybe putting a link in the chat or something to that? Do you mind?
Yeah, I just posted it on all the meetups. I don't know how you found us.
But on a local, I don't know, on a meetup of some type.
Okay. Yeah, we'll put it into the chat. I'll take you, everybody. Maureen, would you be willing to jump to the YouTube channel, because there's a wealth of information that's all free in our YouTube channel.
Oh, cool.
Sure. Were you talking about Todd's meeting on Wednesday?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to copy it and then I'm going to put that up in the chat. Okay.
Yeah.
1 second here.
And it's National Real Estate Investors Network. It's about the 15th largest real estate
Can you see my screen?
network in the
Can you all see my screen or no?
country for a meetup. So this is the
yes.
So if you YouTube channel a bit of this,
The YouTube channel?
Maureen, if you're willing to do that.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
Sure.
Can you see it?
Video, it says home and video now.
where do you want me to go?
Next
The
to it.
videos?
Then playlist.
I'm not
Yeah, I
sure
don't
she
think
heard
so.
you.
There we
Okay,
go.
yeah,
There's your videos.
So what's the cost to join this?
there's no cost.
Cool.
No, there's no cost, Dwayne. So if you look here, I've got like a CPA that's talking about all the tax changes, and you can set a 20-minute appointment with him and bring your deals, your tax questions to him. We just did one for beginning investors, how to get started. We've got somewhere, I've got a wholesaler that's wholesaling to real estate agents. He's got an incredible program set up around that. He's in there. There's just a lot of 10-minute ones. There's, I don't know, this is like, we do 3 meetups a week, and there's 2 or 3 years worth of meetups in here, okay, or live events, and we videotape them all. So it's just a wealth of information for you guys to use. Like if you, how to write up a buyer favorable purchase agreement, how to write a 3-part purchase agreement, how to do lease options. There's some killer stuff on lease options, how you can put the tenants at risk and get above market rents by in the form of an option note and stuff. So there's just all kinds of stuff in here that's worth listening to. And it's all no charge. And the reason it's no charge is because we're trying to get a group of self-help people. And for my own greedy reasons, I'm looking for wholesalers in other markets that I can generate leads for to be able to do partnership with them. So, but the networking meetings are really good. So,
Where are the wholesalers based?
all over, but the majority of them are in Michigan right now. But I've just, we've opened up like the St. Louis meetup, and I'm in Los Angeles now with a meetup.
Yeah.
And so what
New
we're trying to do,
Jersey, you've got some in New Jersey.
Albuquerque,
Yeah,
Dallas.
Chicago. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So we're just trying to interconnect all this stuff.
Nice.
And just, it's just one big self-help group, basically. So it's kind of like a recovering alcoholic or something. It's a 10-step program for real estate. So anyway, that's a resource for all you guys. And if you join the meetup, we'll be sending different videos out all the time. So, okay. So we'll go back to the PowerPoint. Sorry.
Okay.
Got the train off the track a little.
Yep. Can you see it?
Yeah, we're good. We'll
Okay.
go on to
Okay.
the next one.
Okay. Well, the next one is about me, I guess.
Yeah, it is.
All right. So I started my work career actually in the civil engineering and land surveying field. And I was doing a residential site condominium development for one of my clients who was a good friend of mine. And he asked me what I did on the weekends. And I said, nothing. Why? And he said, well, you want to sell my units? You know, the house is over here. And I said, well, what do I have to do to get a real estate license? So I looked into that, and I got my real estate license, and I started sitting in his models and selling homes there. And then, of course, our building industry really took off in the 90s and early 2000s. And so I didn't have a whole lot of time, to spend on real estate in that regard. And then I came back into this in the I'm going to call it pre-foreclosure boom and the downside of the market. And my brother-in-law and I opened up our own real estate brokerage. And then he was the broker, and I was the associate broker. And after a little while, I decided to get my broker's license just to help him out there. And then I partnered with Carrington Holdings, which is the parent company of Villa Home. We have Carrington Mortgage and we have Villa Title. And we are nationwide. We have agents all across the nation that are licensed. Some of them are real estate investors. And so we specialize, I shouldn't say we specialize, but I should say we have a background in REO. Bank owned foreclosure, short sales, you know, all aspects of real estate. We don't limit our agents as to what they can do. Commercial, you name it, we're doing.